Peace and welcome to the Alchemy Priestess podcast. Before I get started, I want to do a disclaimer because Lilith, who used to be Buddha, who used to be Obsidian, the whole list just keeps going on and on and on. Only because I just recently found out that I have a female cat and not a male cat. So I ended up changing her name to Lilith. If you want to know who Lilith is, you can actually look that up yourself on Google and it'll give you the basics. However, she has the zoomies. So if you see her running around, I'm not stopping her from living her life. I'm not stopping her. I was like, what is that? I'm not stopping her from living her life. And so if you see her running around, coming across my legs, just it is what it is. This is my reality. This is my life. Today I just wanted to speak very raw and intentional about being authentic and true to yourself. Why, when I just said that, I started getting emotional? That is wild. Yeah, just being raw and authentic with yourself, I think, is super important. I'm going through a shedding of many layers of myself. I actually thought that I was done. Is there an end? There never is an end. But I thought that there was an aspect of myself that didn't have to shed anymore. Geez, what is happening? I'm just going to keep rolling. When I talk about these certain topics about myself, I get very emotional because it's been a journey. Okay, so I'm learning to, regardless of things that I'm speaking about, if I'm with you guys and I'm here, I have to allow things to just be what they are in the moment because it is myself releasing. And certain times when you talk about things, I feel like we have these pockets of parts of ourselves that want to erupt and that want to release themselves. And to suppress that is to not really respect your journey and to respect the process. So, again, as I said, I wanted to speak about authenticity and the rawness of oneself. I'm going through a shedding of many layers. I've already been shedding. I thought I was done shedding certain aspects of myself, but it just seems to come back again. Hold on. Just need to wipe. Jeez. All right. So I know some of this is Pluto back in Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn, and Pluto has been in my sign since 2008. It took a break, went into Aquarius, and now it's back into Capricorn again until November. So Pluto is a gangster. Pluto loves to hold a mirror to your face to reveal to you how much more shit you still need to deal with and how much more of yourself you can still fine tune. And so it went back into Capricorn, which my sun sign is Capricorn. I'm all signs according to where the alignment is. That's just how I am. I don't feel like I'm just one sign. But my sun sign is in Capricorn. And since it's back in Capricorn, I thought I would do this video about tearing down the aspects of yourself that you establish on falsehood, manipulation, deceitfulness, programming, and it will crumble your worlds that were not built on a solid foundation of authenticity and rawness. And this life is extremely important to realize that Nothing is ever stagnant. Nothing is ever at a standstill. Everything is always moving according to the vibration. And even though something may seem like it's standing still, something is always moving. And it's moving according to the frequency and the state of yourself, first and foremost. And then the momentum is the energy and the concentrated thought that you keep giving it. And for a very long time, I was unnatural within myself. I wanted authentic love. I wanted raw love. I wanted real love. Real love, right? I'm searching for some real love. You ain't gonna find it unless you're real within yourself first. So, since 2008, since Pluto was in Capricorn, I've had a lot of crumbling of my life from family, friends, homes, cars. A lot of things have been released, and now me living van life, this is all that I have. This is all that's left of the crumbling and the tower moment. Like the tarot card has a tower moment. I've had my tower moments, and I'm going to continue to have tower moments, and I embrace them. So I wanted to do this video in connection of one, Pluto going back in Capricorn, because it's the tearing down of the old in order for you to recognize the new. And it's at 29 degrees, meaning that it's at its last point. So anything between now and November, the end of November, whatever it is that you need to allow yourself to release and let go and to face in rawness and authenticity is extremely important. And it's not just the mental, it's not just the physical, it's definitely consciousness, the tearing down of programs, the tearing down of belief systems. And, I, for myself, the fact that I'm even here, let me tell you how deep this goes for me. The fact that I am in front of you with no filter, my natural hair, my natural environment, me 100% in my raw form, I am truly amazed by that because I was so self-conscious about how people viewed me in the past. I've completely grown out of that. Like I just don't even care anymore. But I'm in a space now where everything for me has to be raw and authentic, and I'm literally throwing myself into the fire in order to be purified, because I've noticed that there were certain aspects of me that were still holding on to the unnatural part, which was the filtering. Like I had let go of a lot of shit. I had let go of a lot of materialistic things, a lot of relationships. I let go of a lot of things. The nails, the wigs, like people who know me, if you go back on my page, you'll see a full transformation of me wearing wigs and nails and a whole lot of makeup. And now I'm just in this very raw and natural form because I want to know what it's like to go back to my natural my natural state, right? But then there was a specific filter that I was using that I loved. It wasn't too crazy, didn't distort my face, but then I also had to sit back and observe why I was still using that. Why are you still using this filter for all of your videos, for all of your pictures? And it was because there was still this bubble inside of me that did not want to let go of being true and authentic, first to myself and then to others. I'm not in the game of being deceptive. I am not in the game of being manipulative. I will manipulate energy in my own personal life if I need to, because that's what alchemy is about, manipulating energy. But when I say manipulating, I mean manipulating others into believing that I am something that I am not. And I'm very vocal. I'm very honest. I'm very open. My throat chakra is wide open. I speak my truth. And it can be a lot for some people. But I'm okay with that because I haven't been here before. And this is not about anybody else in this present moment. This is about me and my journey and what I need in order to begin to fulfill the next path for myself. And yeah, there is beauty in being able to look at yourself in a mirror and be very aware and to have communion with yourself and conversations with yourself. Like what is it still that I'm holding on to? What is it still that I'm not being true to? What is it still that I'm not allowing myself to fully engage in my path and my journey, and just being okay with all that it is, and how could we truly ask for something real, divine, honest, and true if we ourselves have not done it? You know what I'm saying? Or aren't being that. It's impossible, because you're always going to attract all that you are. You're going to attract some other shit as well. However, the majority of this life is about aligning yourself to mirrors of yourself that you need to observe. And, it's something that I think oftentimes we take for granted. And when we're in the scene of dating, or when we're in the scene of being with someone, we constantly sit there and, kind of point the finger and raise our voice and argue. And I'm guilty of this at times, of not really realizing that, one, everybody has the right to be who they are. Two, this is just me having to be in observance of the situation. Three is being able to recognize what aspect of this union is needed for me to evaluate myself. What part of this mirror am I supposed to take with me on my path to the next, step? And people are either going to be reasons, seasons, or lifetimes. And I think that's another thing too, is being able to harness the art of detachment and having that power to know that everybody and everything is just an experience. And some of them will last lifetimes, some of them will last seasons, and some of them will be reasons, and just being okay with however that needs to be laid out. For me, I feel is a superpower, you know, to be able to look at something or someone and be like, okay, thank you for this present moment, because this is what I needed. And now I can move forward because I've observed the situation, and I can be greater within myself now because I'm noticing spaces and pockets of myself that I thought I needed. So this life is beautiful solo. I love my solo journey. I love being alone. I love my solitude. But then the work has to be in this communion with humans. That's when the true essence of the information, the knowledge, and the wisdom that you've received along your path while you've been by yourself gets used, and it starts to, get momentum. Because when you're by yourself, not to say that things don't have momentum, but things are in a very quiet, chill, flowing state. And when two energies come together, it creates this friction at times, because no relationship is ever perfect. It's perfect in its own imperfections, but it chisels away at all of the things that you thought that you had worked on, read, meditated on, all of that. And I think that that's something that, I think we need to learn how to and honor the space of knowing that everything is in divine order. There's nothing that's off, and for myself, I am always throwing myself in the fire and volunteering myself to be thrown in the fire, because I want to rise as the phoenix. I don't want to be thrown in the fire because I am being stubborn, or I'm not listening, or I'm not paying attention to the messages. I don't want to be thrown in a fire because oftentimes you begin to kind of just get drowned in with the ashes. But when you volunteer yourself, you begin to like, okay, I was ready for this. I was mentally prepared for this. This is what I wanted. And so you rise out of the ashes as a phoenix because you yourself wanted that experience and you weren't in a space of trying to be against it, you know? And so, yeah, being raw and authentic is not an easy journey because one, it starts in childhood where your parents have wanted you to mask all that you are because they had an image of you that they wanted you to be for their likeness. Two, schooling conditions you to be somebody that you're not and teaches you and instills a bunch of information that you'll fucking hardly ever use when you're living this life. And then three, you carrying all that with you into your adulthood. And if you don't take the necessary awareness and the steps for yourself, however that looks like, because this is not a 12-step motherfucking program where now, since you did the 12 steps, you're just a whole different person. It just does not work like that. It just doesn't work like that, you know, but it's this knowingness that, and this awareness and this self actualization of oneself and the emotional intelligence to be able to deal with yourself and to manage yourself and to regulate yourself, of knowing that all of these things that you've collected that were somebody else's, you have to learn how now to replace them with newness. It's not about getting rid of anything because the brain and the mind, which are two separate things, by the way, and the consciousness do not work like that. This is not about just turning a switch on and turning a switch off. This is about reprogramming what is already there. And what we don't want to do is sit in a space where you're trying to eliminate all of this programmed information that you've carried on, like myself, for 46 years and thinking that that shit's going to be turned off overnight. It does not work like that. This is a process. And this is why I always say you have to be gentle with your process. You know, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your path. It's beautiful. Be patient. Be still. Honor it. Enjoy it. Feel it. Be one with it. You know, don't be so hard on yourself. But yeah, it's a journey. It's definitely a journey, and I'm enjoying this more raw aspect of myself, and I want people to see me for all that I am. I don't want to be cloaked in makeup. I don't want to have these false nails. I don't want to have false hair. Like, I live that life, and I was living in Atlanta. Atlanta specifically is called the Trap, and it's called the Trap for a reason. You get trapped in that shit, you know? And now when I go back and I look at myself, there was this picture where I was in a row with all of these other females and I looked the same. I looked just like them. It's just the hair, the makeup, the this, the that. And not that there's anything wrong with that. If somebody chooses to live that way, I'm just saying for my own journey, I'm speaking for myself, that I just no longer want to choose that life anymore. I want to be as raw and authentic as I can be. And the fact that I got so emotional by even stating that at the beginning of this video just reveals to you how precious this topic is to me, because it's inward work. It's inward work. It's the acknowledgement of oneself. It's being able to realize that you've been deceived, and even from the closest people to you, they've deceived you. And not that they had any ill will or bad intentions, because they only did what they thought was right because of how they were raised. But now you have this space of sitting on a throne of your life and looking at every single identity of yourself on this lower level and realizing that you no longer choose that. That is the beauty of your journey. That is the beauty of all that you are. And so, yeah, more rawness, more authenticity, more living from your heart space, heart mind coherence, you know, keeping these two balanced is really what it's all about. So I am done. Thank you for watching the Alchemy Priestess podcast. I will be posting just the vocal aspect of this to my Spotify, which is in the link in my bio. And of course, you have the visual here. And remember to always live in love inwardly for yourself first, and then being able to express that to others. So you can find me on YouTube, which is where all of my energy is going now because I just love the platform, at the Alchemy Priestess. and peace.